It will bring fear, Yah. Here's everything. Yahweh loves perverse the soul. I guarantee it answers everything. To know Yahweh,
leave people alone.
Leave
them alone.
Mostly prominent, like Shalom, because we're dominant. Yahweh's strength is greatly marketed. The beginning, because he started it. Scriptures written, with 2 ears to listen. Women, men, and children, here is the prescription. Our way of life is not a religion. Hebrew Israelites, the secret treasures hidden. We were chosen and given a mission. They could read the Torah, but not with his wisdom. Praise God. Gotta praise God. Praise God. Gotta praise God. Praise God. Represent. We gotta represent. We have the strength. We also
Leave him alone.
Seeking God. Always seeking God. Seeking God. Always seeking God. God is faith. He is our Elohim. We also represent. Pray for your spirit. Keep trusting God. I guarantee He knows it. Remember where He got you. Never forget.
Well, praise the mighty Yahweh. And we back for our weekly dose of Elijah Man Cave on the Sabbath day. You know I got to come through. And a lot of these things are things you will never hear from any other houses or any house of Israel, anywhere. All right, why? Because we're dealing with Elijah. And what is his mission? To bring the fathers back to the children and the children back to their fathers. Most people don't want this. Most people say that they talk about it, but do they really help the fatherless? No, they do not. If they were to help the fatherless, they would be for our cause. They would be for the fathers' rights movement's cause, who fathers have been done unjustly and can't be around their children. So if these places and if these people were really fighting for the fatherless, then they would actually help what I'm trying to do. But none of them, they really just, they shun us. But today I will be speaking on the need for masculinity, because our people need masculinity. The world right now is lacking masculinity. I wanted to start off I'll start off right here in the book of 1 Kings. And we see why they talk about Jezebel, why they call you, see Jezebel. What most people don't realize when they're talking about Jezebel. Most people who call somebody a Jezebel don't know what they're talking about. But if you study Jezebel, Jezebel was not a prostitute. Maybe spiritually, but physically, no one laid with Jezebel but King Ahaz. All right, from what we know. Now, she is a very wicked woman, so it wouldn't be nothing for me to find out. But somebody laying with a king's wife would get killed. Ahab was the king of Israel at the time. So when you calling somebody a Jezebel, you're calling them someone who is out of place, out of pocket. I'm not even going to go over all the scriptures dealing with Jezebel, but Jezebel was a woman who wanted to be the king. She wanted to be the head. She didn't know order. And we see here in 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 1, and Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and withal how he had slain all the prophets with a sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, so let the God do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of them by tomorrow about this time. Now, what's crazy about this? If we go back to Deborah and see how Deborah, a real prophetess, a real woman, handled herself, we could go to Judges chapter 4 and see that, and see the stark difference in how Deborah was not a Jezebel. And we go to the book of Judges, chapter 4. And we see in Judges chapter 4, we're at verse 8. What does it say? And Barak said unto her, if thou wilt go with me, then I will go. But if thou wilt not go with me, then I will not go. And this is what Deborah said. She said, I will surely go with thee, notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor. For Yahweh shall sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. So what is Deborah saying? Deborah is saying, y'all not being men, and it won't be for your honor, because the Almighty is going to deliver Sisera to the hand of a woman if you want to have me fighting for you, if you're going to have me going over there to help with the fight, then it won't be for the glory like it's supposed to be, you being a man and going out there. But as we see, Ahab told his wife, we can go right back. Let me see how Jezebel handled it. See, she knew that that was out of place, but not Jezebel. Ahab told Jezebel what Elijah did. So look, we got the king telling the queen what Elijah did. The king told the queen, Ahab told Jezebel what Elijah had done. And then Jezebel come out talking about, if it don't, I'm going to murk you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do all out of her place. All out of pocket. And I know that Deborah was a righteous woman. She was a righteous judge, because she knew it was out of pocket for her to go to war with somebody. That was what the men did. But Jezebel, she already thinks she a man. She already thinks she the head. So she says, Jezebel sent messengers to Elijah saying that she gonna kill him. Jezebel did it. Why? Because she out of pocket. Jezebel wasn't a hoe. She was the woman that wanted to be a man. But let me go further about Jezebel. We go to 1 Kings 21. We learn a real definition of Jezebel. In 1 Kings 21, we go to verse 5. What does it say? But Jezebel, his wife, came to him and said unto him, why is thy spirit so sad, that thou eatest no bread? And he said unto Jezebel, because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and he said unto him, give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard. So the king is mad because the King Ahaz, wanted someone's vineyard, but he would not give it to him. So what did Jezebel do? And Jezebel, his wife, said unto him, dost thou not govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thy heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So she wrote letters in Ahaz's name. You see, now you're seeing what a Jezebel is. The woman who steps out of her place and writes something in the king's name. It's not for a queen to do these actions. This is not a queen's place to do these actions. But guess what Jezebel does? She writes letters in Ahab's name and seals them with his seal, and sends the letters into the elders and to the nobles that were in his city dwelling with Naboth. So we see that she's out of pocket. Continue. And she wrote in the letter saying, proclaim a fast and set in a booth on high among the people, and set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him, saying, Thou didst blaspheme Elohim and the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. So what Jezebel just said is what this is. We're going to steal this man's. We're going to steal this man's vineyard. We're just going to have 2 men become a false witness and say that he blasphemed the Almighty so that we can kill him. And that's exactly what they did. And the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who were with the inhabitants of the city, did as Jezebel had sent them unto them, and that it was written in the letters which she had sent unto them. So Jezebel sent letters for this thing to be done. But guess why guess why Jezebel is Jezebel? Because she wrote letters in Ahab's name and with his seal. She made decrees. Now we can go, and in fact, I'm going to go to the book of Esther. Let me go to the book of Esther, because we're going to see the king makes decrees. It's not the queen's place to do that. So when, in the book of Esther, when Queen Vashti was acting crazy, the king's servants and the king's governors was like, what you going to do? Make a decree that she gets out of here. So it's the king's job to make decrees. But when you have a Jezebel on your hands, she wants to be in a man's place. As we can see, she threatened Elijah, and Ahaz told his wife what happened, and then his wife go and threaten Elijah. That's way out of pocket. But that's what you have when you have a Jezebel. So when you hear people use the word Jezebel, it's not in the context of a hoe, because nobody was going to have sex with Ahab's wife. She was not out here like that. That's the king's wife, unless that was something they false deity did, but we know better. That's why right here, Jezebel said, we're going to have 2 people bear false witness against him and say he blasphemed the Almighty. That's a commandment. If this man blasphemed the Almighty, he's supposed to die according to the Almighty's word. So even at the time, our people were still living by the Almighty's word up under this wicked woman. So she had 2 people become a false witness, but she did it saying that she was Ahaz, using the king's power, trying to be a man, doing what the men do, doing a man's job. And that's exactly what we have right now. We are surrounded by Jezebels. You don't have, Jezebel was not a harlot. So when you have somebody, she may not be a hoe, but she is still a Jezebel. All right. And let's go to the book of Esther. To see that what she did was what the men. Okay. What the man did. So she took the place of a man, trying to be like a man. That's what the Jezebel is. Oh, I just don't want 16. I want the whole chapter. Let's go to verse 16. And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen have not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of King Assyria. So he like, listen, fam, when your queen disrespects you, acting like a Jezebel, she made us all look bad. Let's continue. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all the women, so that they shall despise their husband in their eyes. And it shall be reported, the king of Syria commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. So he said, now all the women gonna think they can do that. Now all the women gonna act like this. Let's continue. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. They say when they find out that this one woman is disrespecting her husband, is doing these, is not listening to the king of the whole place. The queen is not listening to the king. They're going to rise much contempt and wrath. Let's continue. If it please the king, let there be a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it may not be altered, that Vashti come no more before the king Assyrius, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than him. Now, the only thing she did was didn't come to the man. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with a woman not? She just didn't want to come to the man. They equal, right? She just didn't want to come to him. She ain't disrespect him. I'm trying to think like a Jezebel right now. I mean, maybe not. Let me be the devil's advocate real quick. Only thing she did was didn't come to him. When he asked her to come, she said she ain't coming. Well, shouldn't a woman be able to do that? I mean, come on. At the least, we liberated. Ain't that what they say? Oh man, my stuff unplugging. Give me a second. Yeah, I had to plug it back in. Yeah, but we liberated. Let's continue though. And when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, all the wives shall give their husbands honor, both to the great and small. All the wives shall give their husband. That goes without saying. You know what I'm saying? But that's when we have all these people disrespecting, they don't even care about no honoring your husband. Around here, with all the divorce, I'm part of the Father's Rights movement. We're going to continue. And the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Memucan. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, and to every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, and that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the languages of every people. So every man shall bear rule in his own house. So we don't have Jezebels who go over King Ahaz's head. King Ahaz was the ultimate. He was the first king Sam, but he was worshiping a false deity. He told me, we just went over 2 scriptures. Ahaz went to go tell his wife what Elijah did, and then his wife went to go threaten him. Is that what a man does? A man goes to his wife Jezebel saying, "Oh, this," and then his wife go out there and threaten him. But it say that every man shall bear rule over in his house. Man, he said we cannot have this. We cannot have it. But see, that's the whole thing about needing for masculinity. Most people are going to hate that. They hate manhood. It's all good. Let me continue. And I'm going to go to the book of Isaiah 19. And I actually went over this scripture with a sister earlier this year. Yesterday. But I ain't gonna go into the context because it was just the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, I was completely right, but it was just the wrong place at the wrong time. And also, this is what I'm gonna do. Since nobody watching right now, I'm gonna put the StreamYard copy, right, into the comments. So if anybody want to come in, why ain't nobody here? It's there. But I want to thank the Almighty for the things that I've done. You know, even though I should not get that much credit in regards to here, but I have exposed different congregations. I've exposed different things. They may not give me the credit for it, but it is what it is. But in Isaiah chapter 19, we can start at verse 14. The next unto him was Karshina, Shether, Admintha, Tarshish. Should I go into all that? Oh, hey, forgive me, y'all. In Isaiah 19 and 14, it says, Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggering in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women. Let me read that again. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yah of hosts, which he shaketh over it. So right here, it's saying clearly that when he goes to destroy a place, they're going to be like women. Okay? But I'm going to show two more scriptures that says the same thing. That when the Almighty is about to go and destroy you and take everything you have, and you have no defenses, well, how does he describe you? When he's going to curse a people, how did he describe the people? And he said he described them as turning them into women, turning them all into women. All right, let's go to Jeremiah. All right, and in Jeremiah 50, verse 33, what does it say? Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Yehudah were oppressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast, and they refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he might give rest unto the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. The sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith Yahweh, upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon her horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. Let me see this. They shall become as women, right? A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. So what is that saying? They shall become as women, right? Look up that. That's the same woman as in all the rest of the Bible. I know y'all go to etymology. It's the same word, woman. They shall be as women, all right? Not able to defend themselves from what's going to happen to them. And that's the need for masculinity. That's why we need it back. Because when he come to destroy us, all the men are raised and are as women. What's up, Libra? I'm on live right now. I'm gonna be right with you. As women. But let me go to another scripture. Listen, Book of Nahum. And in Nahum chapter 3, I'm going to go to verse 10. And it says, "Yet was she carried away. She went into captivity. Her young children also were dashed in pieces at the top of all the streets. And they cast lots for her honorable man. And all her great men were bound in chains. Thou also shalt be drunken. Thou shalt be hid. Thou also shalt seek strength because of the enemy. All thy stronghold shall be like fig trees with the first ripe figs. If they be shaken, they shall even fall into the mouth of the eater. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. The gates of the land shall be set wide open unto thy enemies. The fire shall devour thy bars." So this is the need for masculinity, because when we have a bunch of men raised by women, not valiant men, and we're going to talk about that, but there's so much as women, they want to be homosexuals. They want to be women. So we are as women. And I want to continue because I have to stress this point if we don't want them as women. And this in the book of Isaiah 38. In Isaiah 38 and 14, I type it right. Oh, my bad. In verse 19, it says, the living, he shall praise thee, as I do this day. The Father to the children shall make known thy truth. Why is that important? Can the truth be made from the mother to the children? Am I making a bad distinction by saying, oh, it's really just talking about the men bringing this truth to their offspring? Can the woman, can the mother make known that truth? Or is it supposed to be the father? Why do you think I call this Elijah's man cave? I don't know why this thing went, but I call it Elijah's man cave because Elijah is going to bring the hearts of the fathers to the children. And yeah, this will be messing up on me. Let me try that one more time. And right here, it says, behold, I will send Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. He shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So this is going to happen. Elijah's going ahead and do that. But right now, we do have modern Jezebels right now. That's why at the beginning of my presentation today, I've shown how Jezebel is a type of woman that wants to do what the king's doing. The type of woman that will get out of her place. And I even show how Deborah said it was out of place for her to go to war. She said that the Almighty is going to deliver this place to a woman. And that's out of place. But a Jezebel will be the main fighter. She'll have her husband, King Ahaz, get in the back. Jezebel got Ahaz to go back. Now you back up. I'm gonna kill you, Elijah. And that's what we're dealing with right now. A bunch of Jezebels who are out of place, do not know how to be a woman. Remember the definition of Jezebel. It's not a hoe. Jezebel is not a hoe. She is not having sex with many men, because that's Ahaz's wife. That's the king's wife. You get your head chopped off. But what she was doing was she was acting like a king, acting like she ran it, not acting like it. She took the king's senate and made decrees in the king's name, all out of place. If it was for a queen, they would have one for a queen. They didn't have one for a queen. But that's what a Jezebel is. But I want to go, because we're talking about the need for masculinity. So I'm going to go to Genesis 14:14. And what does it say? Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive. He armed his trained servants, born in his house, 318, and pursued them to Dan. So Abraham had 300 trained servants. Now, remember Abraham. I really want y'all to remember how Abraham was. They called him master. They called Abraham master, just like the Kung Fu master. But the crazy thing about Abraham, his wife was a master. Sarah was a mistress, which is the female version of master. They called her a mistress. But this master had 318 trained servants ready to kill. The need for masculinity. We look at them Chinese movies like they're so strange. This grown man is calling somebody master. But this grown man, the master is teaching them how to fight and how to meditate and how to be a leader. And guess what? Abraham was a master and he had trained servants. He was the master of the house. We need our culture back. We need to have men respect other men and call other men master. I think I heard one leader start teaching this. What's good, family? I mean, I got the what's the name in there, fam. I'm almost done with my presentation, and you can come in and say what you want to say. You know what I'm saying? But right here, we're just seeing how Abraham had all these trained servants, and he was called master. They were ready to kill. I'm going to go to 2 Samuel. And brother, I already told you how I feel about Elijah's message. It's clear. It's clear. Like I said, when we dealing with, I'm talking about Jezebel. What we dealing with Jezebel? It's clear. I know what Jezebel is. I know we're dealing with Jezebels right now. I think that's one of the reasons Kevin Samuels got killed. Jezebel killed him. Elijah has to come back. But right here in 2 Samuel 23:14, and David was in a hole, and the garrisons of the Philistine was then in Bethlehem. And David lodged, he longed, and said, oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate. And the three mighty men break through the host of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof, but poured it out unto Yah. And he said, be it far from me, O Yah, that I should do this. Is not this the blood of the men that went in jeopardy of their lives? Therefore, he would not drink it. These things that these three mighty men, and Abishai, the brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was chief among the three. He lifted up his spear against 300 and slew them, and had the name among three. So this man, he was trained up. Because remember, Abraham had trained servants, but this is during David's time. So we had some real valiant men. The need for masculinity. This man right here slew 300. We need to have our men under other men, teaching them how to fight, teaching them how to, just like them Chinese masters. We ain't no Chinese master. This right here is the house of Israel. But this man slew 300. Continue. Was he not most honorable of the three? Therefore he was their captain. Howbeit he attained not unto the first three. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of the valiant man, Kesziel, who had done many acts, he slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. He went down also and slew a lion in the midst of the pit in the time of snow. He slew an Egyptian, a goodly man, and the Egyptian had a spear in his hand, but he went down unto him with a staff and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and killed him with his own spear. What? The need for masculinity in the house of Israel. We had some warriors. We don't even talk about this now. We had some beasts out here, and we had it coordinated. I'm gonna get deeper into it on another day in regards to these valiant men. Believe me, it's a lot in here. But we had a certain number of valiant men in each tribe ready to kill. What happened to that? We all up under our mama right now. Let's continue. And these things did Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and had the name among 3 mighty men. He was more honorable than the 30, but he attained not to the first 3. And David set him over his guard. So this is just certain examples of beast we had among us. Like I said, Abraham trained his servant, but we always train our men. That's the need for masculinity. We're all feminine. We got this little, truth be told, I think school is the feminine side. I think the men had a whole other side. The men had a whole other side. It was a different type of school that men took you to. You learn how to be a man with the sword, with your hands. We already know how Samson killed 1,000 with a jawbone. He was a beast. Where did Samson learn how to fight like that? We have a need for masculinity in the house of Israel. These men were beasts. I'm talking about if you go on Netflix right now and type in the IP man, and you gonna see IP man with 10 people like this, and he go and just jam up to 10 people, just wreck them. But he ain't got nothing on Abraham. He ain't got nothing on this dude that was guarding David. I can guarantee you. What's his name? What's his name? Let me see. Oh, all right here. Yeah, Abishai. Abishai will murk the IP man. Easy. He lifted up his spear against 300. His spear against 300. You think the IP man or Bruce Lee got something on our people? No. We thinking them Chinese people can fight like, come on, fam. We the house of Israel. That's why we need masculinity. Because right now we just don't know that. We in heavy need for masculinity. And that's why, you know, I also want to give a shout out to the and I don't think I never did this before. But better late than never, to the late great Moray Ezekiel. He taught us martial arts when he could. Great man. Just want to give a shout out to the brother because he was a manly man. He taught us that Ezekiel used to beat on us. Not like that, but he used to do the moves on us. He say, come here. He'd teach us how to do the move, but he'd do it on us. And it would not be pretty. But that's love. That's the masculinity. That's the type of men we need. That's why it's sad to say R.I.P. Moray Ezekiel. You will be missed. But I'm gonna continue, get on a lighter note. The book of Ruth, chapter 1. Get on a lighter note. I'm gonna change the tempo. In the book of Ruth, chapter 1, I'm talking verse 11. So we know in the book of Ruth what happened. You know, Naomi, her husband died, and she had 2 sons, but both of her sons died. But her sons' wives were still with her. But she like, man, my husband dead, both my sons dead. Y'all can go. We ain't have no men here. You see, Naomi didn't turn around like these women to do today. And like I said, I love the sisters, but they say, oh, we independent. The man dead, so what? We still in here. What's good? She like, no, my husband dead. Both of your husbands are dead. You can go back to your father's house. You good? Let me read this though. I think he said your mother's house. Let's go back. Said Naomi said, turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb that may be your husbands? She's like, y'all ain't got no husbands. Why you staying with me? Y'all need a man. Why are y'all with me? Turn again, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. Damn. Is that such? Can somebody be too old to have a husband? Let's continue. And if I say, I have hope, if I should have a husband also tonight, and should also bear sons, would you tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them from having husbands? So she said, if I had a baby today, would you wait until my baby grew up to have a husband? Like, why are y'all with me? Y'all have no man. That's basically what she's saying. There's no man here for you. So why you want to stay with me? I'm going home to my people. Why are you need a man? Would ye tarry for them till they were grown? Would ye say, stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of Yah is going out against me. And we know what happened with the book of Ruth. And they lifted up their voices and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave to her. And the craziest kind of sound like Oprah. Oprah left. I'm just playing. But Ruth, let's continue though. So we see right here, it's a shame attached to widowhood or not having a husband. What's good, Classy? I'm in the middle of my live right now. I'm gonna have to holler at you, all right? It was a shame for not having a husband. You feel me? She let it be known. Listen, I don't have my both my sons is dead. If I have to try to get another son, you gonna wait till he grow up? You won't have no man. Get away from me. Like, no, that's not how I go. But I mean, but Ruth clave into her. Because Ruth obviously is an intelligent woman, and she knew that the house of Israel was the best place to be, and she knew that what I'm saying. This woman of the house of Israel conducted herself the way she wants. She wants to live with a people like that. I understand where you're coming from, Ruth. All right, but I want to go to Isaiah 54 real quick. Okay, that's what's up. It's always a problem with you though, boy. Class, you better back up, class. All right, I'm gonna go to Isaiah 55. You cool? Okay. Let me and it says in verse 1, sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear, break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith Yah. Now, can we say that today? So it says, sing, O barren, and break forth into singing and cry aloud, right? Those that did not even have a child yet. You ain't even have a child yet. For more are the children of the desolate. Who's the children of the desolate? Than the children of the married wife. So we got a married wife and we got a desolate person. So which one is our women? Which one is the house of Israel today in captivity? We love the daughters of Zion. They all we got. But you know what I'm saying? That's why we got to attack the doctrine and not the people. But with the daughters of Zion, more are the children of the desolate than the children of married women. And that's exactly what's going on today. But if I go to the book of Lamentations, I can show that a little further, because when they talk about, when the Psalm says literally 20, 30, 40 times that you're supposed to do for the fatherless and the widow, it says all the time you're supposed to do for the fatherless, that the fatherless and the widow. I'm gonna go to Lamentations 5, because we already know these people don't care about the fatherless. None of these people care about the fatherless. None of them. Most people out here don't care about the fatherless. If they cared about the fatherless, they would join the fathers' rights movement. They would help fathers that are going through stuff. But they love to have the mother take the child away from the father. The mother's supposed to have custody, right? They're supposed to have the children. Only under Satan, not under nobody else, not under no other God. Only Satan. That's not in the Bible. That's not in the Quran. That's not in any Hindu scripts. That's not in any Chinese or anything, any deity. Only through Satan. But let's continue though. Remember, O Yah, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance and turn to strangers, our house to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. So our mothers are not even widows. These are women as widows. For real. They're not widows. See, because our children are fatherless, yes. But these women are as widows. They're not widows. They're just like the women we have today. As widows. All right. But I'm going to be done with this momentarily. I'm going to go to a scripture in the book of Psalms 82. I'll be done very soon. And if anybody want to join, I got the, do I have the link up there? Yeah, I put the link up there if y'all want to join. But I'm going to Psalms 82. And remember, this is a need for masculinity. All right. In Psalm 82, verse 1, it says, Elohim standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judges among the gods, the Els. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. defend the poor and the fatherless, do justice to the afflicted and the needy. Right? Deliver the poor and the needy, rid them out of the hand of the wicked. For they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. So it says right here, they know not, neither will they understand. Now, why does it say that in verse 5? Because when it say right here, defend the poor and the fatherless, they don't know what that means. None of these congregations know what that means. If they were going to defend us, you know what I'm saying? Defend the fatherless, then they would get on these women that are keeping the children away from their father. It happens all day, every day. They don't even talk about it. They scared of that. They don't understand. That's what Elijah gonna have to come back and do. Return the hearts of the fathers to the children and the children to the fathers. Because these ministers, these preachers are too scared to talk to these Jezebel, these women. They're too scared of the Jezebel spirit. And like we said before, Jezebel isn't a hoe. She isn't a harlot. She's a woman that wants to be a man, wants to be the head. So all these men, we said defend the poor and the fatherless. They're not defending the fatherless. They're not going to do it. They're not going to talk against these women keeping the children away from their fathers legally with this in captivity, using this man, using this heathen to keep the fathers away from their children. Good fathers, good Israelite fathers. And I got many of them going through hell. I got a whole list of them. Just let me know. I can talk to you about it. We got a bunch of Israelites. And they say, oh, because you were evil, because you're just an evil man. It's just your fault. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. They talk down on us. They don't defend the fatherless. They don't defend us trying to be fathers. So how can they defend the fatherless kid? If they're not trying to unite them with their fathers. But I'm going to end this off. I'm going to end this live off with my with the scripture I always end it off with. Okay. Now, what does it say? Thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. But let him that glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am Yahweh, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith Yah. So there is nothing that I said here. Believe me, the Almighty should have been to. It's only through the Almighty's judgment and through the Almighty's righteousness that I'm still here today. I'm still breathing. I'm still cognitive. He could have put anything. I could have, my mind and everything. The Almighty directs our steps. So I'm not haughty and arrogant to think that I'm doing anything. I'm flesh and bones. I will return to the earth. Me, as I'm nothing. But I do glory in this, though. Glory that I not know the Almighty. Which let me read that. But let him that glory in this, that he understand and know in me, that I am Yahweh, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith Yah. And I glory in the fact I know Yahweh. Because when people talk about, oh, what's the difference between modern and traditional? I can tell them exactly what traditional is, because that's the Almighty's old paths. That's what worked. If you want to know what works, it's the Almighty's laws and commandments. I love Yahweh and his righteousness. I know how I'm supposed to conduct myself, and the Almighty's going to be the judge of my conduct. But It's the Almighty. So I'm a nobody. So, you know what I'm saying? All praises to Yahweh. All glory to Yahweh. If I said anything wrong, obviously it's me. You know, I'm going to return to the dirt. But I'm going to give praise to Yahweh. I'm going to get up out of here. Let me just go ahead and get my little outro. And I always put my son on the outro. Because it's the one that was stolen from me. So, you know, I always got to throw him up in the mix.
See what it will bring. Fear Yah. Here's everything. Yahweh loves perverse the soul. I guarantee the essence everything. To know Yahweh.
Leave people alone.
Hebrew
Leave them alone.
mostly prominent. Like shout out because we're dominant. Yahweh's strength is greatly marketed. The beginning, because he started scriptures written with 2 ears to listen. Women, men, and children, here is the prescription. Our way of life is not a religion. Hebrew Israelites, the secret treasures hidden. We were chosen and given a mission. They could read the Torah, but not with his wisdom. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Gotta praise God. Praise God. Represent. We gotta represent. We have the strength. We also
Leave
represent.
him alone.
Seeking God. Always seeking God. Seeking God. Always seeking God. God is king. He is the Elohim. We have the strength. We also represent. Pray for your spirit. Keep trusting God. I guarantee He